Little kid wears many sweaters. And, according to studies, will say just about anything to get out of hanging out with people. What a weird week.
Hi, everybody, it's Weird.
This is like crazy being here.
Weird.
Really weird tales.
Bigfoot eats out of my trash.
Well, I got a great show for you today with some wonderful weird stuff.
Hi, friends. I'm Scott. This is What a Weird Week. It's a show about the weird things from this week's news, and you can get all our show notes on the show notes page, shownotes.page. Going to do 10 stories for you, fun, interesting. These will be wonderful conversation starters for you over the weekend. This is our episode for June 12, 2026. Here we go.
Number 10.
Number 10 is athlete walks on hands a lot, world reacts. This is about an athlete from Nepal who walked on their hands down 100 stairs in less than 45 seconds. That is some fast hand walking, and that's a world record. That's about the whole thing. We'll link to a video. There's no real audio. I thought it would be like, I regret walking on my hands. But the video is just this. Like it's fast hand walking, but just dramatic music in the background. Anyway, all of that on the show notes page at shownotes.page.
Number 9.
Number 9 is the 7-year-old boy in Pennsylvania who wore the record amount of sweaters.
Let's go, Skylar! Let's go! Let's go, Skylar! Let's go!
It's so nice to hear the encouragement. I don't know if the excitement was cutting through. When you hear the audio alone, maybe the excitement's not cutting through, but we got a world record going on there. That is 7-year-old Skylar in Pennsylvania at the public library putting on 50 sweaters. With some help, 50 sweaters is the world record. It's fun. Check the video out if you need a smile. It's pretty fun. You can click the show notes or go to shownotes.page.
Number 8.
Number 8 is, would you use a magic wand to pay for things? Just kidding. Of course you would. We all would. It's fantastic. This is an article from Gizmodo written by A.J. Dellinger, and it's about the Cash App that is named Cash App. And you can, instead of tapping your phone to pay for things, you can hook it up to different accessories, including a magic wand. You can pay by tapping a magic wand. A.J., the writer of the article, doesn't seem to be a fan. I don't think I'm reading between the lines when I say A.J. may be not a fan of the magic wand. Spends a lot of the article trying to understand why would people pay with a magic wand. I mean, if you've ever been to Universal Studios or you've seen people lining up for the Harry Potter wand experience, whatever it's called there, people pay big dollars. And there is a certain amount of wand fever that happens. I don't think it would ever get, I don't want to disagree with AJ, the article, but I don't think it would ever get old. I go to buy a coffee or delicious French fries, and I take out my magic wand and I do my wizard voice. I'm a wizard, Harry. And pay with my magic wand. That's never going to get old, right? Right?
Number 7.
Number 7 is bumblebees don't bumble, according to new research. The headline from NPR is bumblebees have tiny brains, but they can solve problems like chimps and elephants. My takeaway is it's not the size of your brain that matters? Question mark? Researchers were able to figure out a way to give bumblebees problem-solving scenarios, and those bumblebees solved them. Bumblebees did the Wordle. They even did the full New York Times crossword. Bumblebees knocking it out of the park, the smart park. Obviously, some of that I made up. Who can do the New York Times crossword? No one can really, right? No one can really finish that. Bumblebees are not dunces. That is the gist of the story, but it's quite an interesting read. If you have a second, click the show notes.
Number 6.
For number 6, we are talking about a war zone, and I don't want to make light of anything, ever. We try to do fun, lighthearted stories, and sometimes worlds collide. I'm not trying to make light of any of it, but they found this strange nest in Ukraine. It's a bird nest. It's made out of fiber optic cable from drones. So my understanding is, I'm not an expert on any of this, but in drone warfare, the enemy can hack your drone if you have a wireless drone. So oftentimes one of the solutions is you have a drone that's attached to a light fiber optic cable. But then afterwards, what happens with those cables? Experts are worried that, it's microplastics and it's not great for birds and bats and the little creatures. But in this case, they found a nest. A bird had gathered up the fiber optic cable and made a nest. So there's an article that we link to, some photos too, if you want to click the show notes or go to shownotes.page.
Number 5.
Number 5, if you've ever lied to someone to avoid hanging out with them. Not because you hate them, but just because you've already got your pajamas on. Seems like an awful lot of work to put pants back on. It's 6:30 p.m. already. Just go with the lie and stay in. According to a study, we will say just about anything to avoid hanging out with people. So maybe that's you and you're looking for some new excuses. Click the link in the show notes. The headline from Talker Research is Americans admit using fake emergencies to avoid late night outings. This was 2,000 people, United States of America. It was a survey commissioned by a mattress company, and it had to do with going out versus staying in and getting some sleep. We're too tired to go out, but also we hardly ever just say no. I don't want to go out. I'm too tired. We say some crazy stuff sometimes. One person replied, I told someone that an alien spaceship abducted me. I mean, what's going on with your friends at that point? Are your friends buying that one? Are you a frequent abductee? Here's one, maybe keep this one in your back pocket. My mom needed me. Somebody said, I've been arrested is a good one. People don't ask too many questions. If you want to read the whole thing, we'll link to it in the show notes. My takeaway is, don't feel bad. You're tired, everybody tired. And it turns out we're all lying to one another.
Number 4.
Number 4 is many people attempting to do the human wave. I didn't know this was referred to as the Mexican wave. Oftentimes it's referred to that way. So the current world record, 157,000 people and change. That was in Tennessee in 2008. In Mexico City, they have attempted to break the world record. They had 1.2 miles of people lined up to do the human wave or Mexican wave. Now is the waiting game, though. There's a lot of confidence that they beat it, a lot of enthusiasm about the world record attempt, but you can't rush these things, and the Guinness World Record folks have to make sure, do all the counting, pour over all the evidence, and then calculate whether it's a world record or not. To be continued.
Number 3.
Number 3 is old painting clearly proves time travel is possible. Citation needed. We link to the article in the Mirror US, and there's a photo of the painting. It's a painting from 1937. If you don't have a chance to click, I'll warn you, there's a lot going on. I don't understand art at all. There's a lot happening in this painting. Some of it not pleasant, disturbing. So I'll warn you. The painting from 1937 depicts explorers and indigenous people, and one of the people in the painting is clearly holding an iPhone or a smartphone of some sort. Ergo, time travel is real. And this painter travel back in time, paint something, depict an iPhone, and then not bet on the World Series? Wouldn't you bet on the first paint? Yes, but then wouldn't you bet on the World Series? I thought for sure the Jays were going to win last year. Please don't at me. I'm Canadian. By the way, the alternate theory, not as fun, about what's happening in this painting is the person is holding a mirror, and the mirror looks like an iPhone. You be the judge. I'll link to the thing. Click shownotes.page.
Number 2.
Number 2 is mullets. Mullets making news. In Denmark, they have the National Mullet Championships. We're all on the same page about the mullet. I don't have to explain the mullet. It's business up front, party in the back, the wonderful hairstyle. The article we link to in the New York Post gets into how the Denmark National Mullet Contest came to be. It's a wonderful saga. This contest, I don't know if they're all this way, but you have your hairstyle and then you get 1 minute to sort of strut your stuff on stage. I mean, you got to put on a bit of a show to get the judges' attention. You want a perfect score of 5. Congratulations to this year's winner, described as a 43-year-old construction worker named Thomas or Tomas. We'll link to the photos. I think they're safe for work, but people might ask questions. Some of them, people might be like, what is happening right now? Shouldn't you be looking at the Penske file? That was my impersonation of one of your colleagues at work. Honorable mention. This week's honorable mention, the headline from the New York Post is horrifying video shows plague of mosquitoes swarming as tourists take cover in their cars. So this involved tourists at a lake area, like a touristy area in Russia where people go to enjoy the lake. And tourists didn't get to enjoy the lake because the mosquitoes, well, it's the mosquitoes who own the lake now. Those tourists waited in their car for a while and it didn't get better, the swarm of mosquitoes. And so they had to leave without enjoying the lake. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, oh, come on. You don't know what the bugs are like where I live, Scott. You want to talk about thick mosquitoes? That's where I live. But this is kind of a terrifying video. They describe it as blood curdling. I don't know. That's going a bit far, but it's the music. They do have some blood curdling music to go with the video. But the sky is black with mosquitoes. It's kind of bonkers. So why so many mosquitoes? When you look it up, seems like it's just one of those things that's the perfect storm of a combination of when spring or how spring happened and the weather. Just perfect conditions for lots of mosquitoes. Also, they seem to be angry. Something angered the mosquitoes.
Number one
is a possible Bigfoot sighting. The headline is 2 ladies, a dog, a lighthouse, and a possible Bigfoot encounter on a beach in Michigan. So we link to the article that gets into a Bigfoot report by the Bigfoot Field Research Organization. Somebody reported to them that they saw what they think is a Bigfoot. The article breaks it down a little bit. A dark figure with the build of a very big lumberjack with no neck was spotted, lighthouse adjacent. 2 human eyewitnesses plus a dog. Recently, we covered that invention, the thing that translates what your dog barks into English human language. So maybe we can get the dog in to give their account as well. The dog's name, Snoop Dogg, by the way. This was at a place in Michigan near the Whitefish Lighthouse at Barb's Beach. The article just written up, the encounter happened in May. We don't have photos, we don't have video, we don't even have a sketch. We do have a nice picture of the lighthouse. So while I'm excited that the research continues into the existence of Bigfoot, this story kind of fizzles out at the end, as does our whole show. Really, that's the model for our whole show, the end fizzle. Hey, true believers, we will link to that article if you want to read it. And also at the very end, the reporter does post their contact info. If you've seen something strange, you can get in touch. All right, that's another episode of What a Weird Week, your rundown of the weird news of the week. If you want anything we talked about in more detail, or if you want to learn about our podcasts and stuff, you can go to shownotes.page. If you want to get in touch, same thing. The show notes page is shownotes.page. We'll catch you next Friday with 10 more weird things from the news on What a Weird Week.